The first question is from the line of Avnish Roy from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I have three initial questions. So first is, Puneet, you had sold sports business impact to Sony a few years back. What would be your thought process now on sports, given you will continue to remain MD? Second is, MD for 5 years, is there any terms, conditions attached to it? Third is, raising stake from 4% to 20%. Again, could you clarify any conditions? How does it work? Any timelines for this?
Thanks, Avnish. Yeah, so on the sports business, yes, you are right. We had sold the 10 Sports franchise to Sony about 5 years ago, and it does come back into the merged entity back to us. I believe a lot has changed since the time we sold the sports business. The digital landscape has changed the ecosystem completely for monetization of sports, and therefore this represents a good opportunity for the combined entity to really re-enter the space in a far more gusto manner to enable far more growth for the entire sector itself. So I'm quite excited about that going forward. I always maintain that sports is about properties, and the key properties that are going to be profitable going forward are the ones we are going to be looking at jointly as the board. The conditions for my appointment of the MDship is the same as what has already been approved by the shareholders of Zee. There is no change to that. Any change in the remuneration would be subject to board approval and shareholder approval, whatever necessary requirements are there. On your last question about the 20% stake, our stake potentially can go up to 20%. It is not conditional upon anything. And again, it will be subject to the necessary approvals that would be needed for us to increase that stake.
Right. One final question. In terms of approvals and timelines, and on the EGM called by the minority shareholders 1 week back, taking both into account, what would be the logical way, if you could tell us that?
I will request Vikas to answer that.
Yeah, Amish. So these two are different things. Today, we are talking about the deal, and this deal will follow the due course and the normal process which is followed in a merger scheme. So there is going to be we have entered into an exclusivity with the other party for 90 days, wherein we'll be conducting our due diligence. Post that, we will be taking the scheme to NCLT and SEBI, and of course the shareholder approval is required. So whatever timeline is required to meet all this and to get all these approvals will be followed.
And CCI approval shouldn't be a problem, right?
CCI approval is again a part of the process. Let me say that. Yeah, our internal assessment is that may not be a problem, but then I don't want to stick my neck out and say what will happen. But yeah, it's a part of the process.
You may have to sell some channels. You sounded a bit cautious.
No, not cautious. It's just that since it's a regulatory approval, don't want to say definite things. But I don't think there will be a problem out there.
Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Avnish.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jaykumar Doshi from Kotak. Please go ahead.
Do you see any risk to this deal in terms of any disagreement on terms or conditions between Sony and Zee? Or if you can also share some light on how do you see Competition Commission looking at the Hindi GEC market or Hindi market? Would they be looking at market share in at state level or at a national level? And what are your initial thoughts in terms of
So Jay, this deal has been arrived at with Sony after months of negotiations and preparations, and I think we have a formidable real deal on the table today. Of course, it is subject to due diligence and the necessary documentation that needs to take place. But beyond that, I don't see any other risk to this transaction.
Right.
In terms, sorry,
just a follow-up there. Can share swap ratio change post due diligence? Is there any headroom for that? Some changes, or it's
So, we have given an indicative share swap ratio today basis our very fair assessment of the business of Sony, plus whatever has been advised by the advisors. So, we are pretty comfortable with the share swap ratio which we have disclosed. Yeah, of course, everything is subject to due diligence, and we'll come back with the final numbers once the diligence is done. But we are fairly confident it should not really be way off from what we have disclosed.
Sounds good. Sorry, Puneet, you were perhaps responding to CCI Competition Commission.
So CCI norms differ for different sectors, Jay. In this scenario, I think it will have to be a national level evaluation and not a state level evaluation, and that's my initial assessment of the situation.
Understood. And, in response to the earlier question, you mentioned that, subject to necessary approvals, the promoter family can increase their stake up to 20%. So is there a possibility or, going to be some kind of call options that the family would have to, buy these shares, or will it be, approvals needed for procuring, purchasing shares from the open market? So is there going to be any call option or any warrants or preferential?
No, Jay, nothing has been decided right now. I think it is a condition that we have mutually agreed that the promoter family or the current Z promoter family can increase their stake up to 20%. That's the basic thing, subject to the necessary approvals for any scheme that we choose to go for.
Okay, so both the options are open. It can be open market as well as it can be some kind of preferential allotment or...
We have left it open right now, Jay. Nothing has been decided.
Perfect. So, one more question, if I may. In terms of, US dollar 1.575 billion will be the capital infusion by Sony, and over and above that, I think Z's balance sheet has about $250 million of cash. So, how do you think, this $1.8 billion is a significant amount in terms of capital. So the idea of having such a huge sort of, raising such capital at this stage is preparing for stepping up investments in the sports business, or is it going to be more for the streaming platform?
So our primary objective, first and foremost, will be on the growth of the company overall. Now, whether that will be for the digital business or the sports business, that the new board of the MergeCo will decide what is to be taken on priority.
Understood. And I know it's early, but would it be possible to give some broad color on the cost synergies or revenue synergies that, at a very broad level?
Very early to talk about that, Jay, but generally, if you look at the global markets and this kind of mergers that have happened, the synergies are generally in the range of 6 to 10% on the revenue side. The cost is secondary in my view. I think we should focus more on the growth aspect rather than cutting costs.
Understood. Thank you so much and wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vivekanand from Ambit Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the opportunity. Just to understand the deal better, so would you have the number handy of how much Sony, how much cash does SPNI currently have, and how much fresh capital they will need to infuse? And secondly, with respect to the cash balance, is this 1.575 billion over and above the 200 million that he already has? So the cash balance will increase to around 1.8 billion. Is that the right way to see it?
So I think first and foremost, the cash balance that the company Z has is about 170 million as on June 2021. The cash being brought in by Sony will be 1.575 billion over and above 170 million. So that is, your understanding is correct. The cash balance is currently with us. Do you have an answer?
No, so you'll appreciate that we are under confidentiality with the other side, so we cannot disclose the numbers. and
Right.
and their numbers are not in public. But yeah, the principle is that they need to infuse, or as a part of the merger, they need to bring along 1.575 billion in order to reach the percentage which they are seeking.
Right. Okay. My second question is a bit of a follow-up on the synergy question that Jay asked. So, among the three revenue line items, advertising, subscription, and international, Puneet, in your view, which has the greatest scope for synergies contributing to the 6 to 10% synergy that you outlined? That's a general observation.
So in order of priority, I would put it at advertising and subscription and then international.
Okay. Right. And last question is basically on the subscription side, the domestic subscription market. Do you think that the regulations, the NTO 2.0, will that have any bearing at all on the potential synergies that you can extract due to this merger?
Very early to say, Rakan. I mean, that's something that has to still play out post-merger happening. But certainly on the digital front, it will have enormous synergies on the revenue front for subscription. On the linear side, it's something that we have to still play it out.
Understood. Thanks a lot and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Jain from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, and thanks for the opportunity. A couple of questions first again on the synergy. Can you just highlight on the channels, so the portfolio we have? I understand that we don't have much of an overlapping, but Hindi G, we will be ending up having more than 6 channels, and again in the Hindi movies we will be having a very long list of channels. This rationalization in channel could be one of the things on the card which could help us save a lot of costs on the channel operation and all this. Is there any thought on that?
So on the the channel rationalization is a very discussion for a very later date, because each channel has their own unique viewership also and their own unique programming. So one has to be very careful in evaluating whether rationalization channel is to be done and how it is to be done. Because at the end of the day, for us, maximizing the reach and the viewership remains the utmost criteria. You will appreciate that even on the Hindi movie side, Sony operates with their own unique library and Zee operates with their own unique library. So there is while there may be an overlap, but we do have distinct content properties that exist. So it's not a question I can answer as early as just within one day of announcing the deal. But this will require a lot of deliberation by the joint company and the joint board to come to a final decision.
No, I appreciate that, Puneet. I don't understand what will be your thought process on the channel side.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Sanjay Jain. Your voice is breaking. Can you please check?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, this is better. Please go ahead.
Sorry. Just Puneet, I wanted to pick up on the channel rationalization, and the thought process here was really not looking at the number. Does this expanded portfolio, do you see any scope for discussion?
Sandesh, we lost you. We couldn't hear you.
Apologies for that, sir. Maybe I will come in the queue. I have an issue with the connectivity.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Arun Prasad. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Puneet, my question is on this, the $1.5 billion that the fresh money which will be coming in. So if I do a simple back of the envelope calculation, it means that to generate both the companies are more or less generating similar ROCs on that, and that means at this $1.5 billion where if it were to be invested, you need to generate additional $1.5 billion of close to large amount of revenue over the period of next 2-3 years to justify or to ensure that the ROCs are not diluted. So do we really have this kind of opportunity in the near term to invest this immediately, or what exactly where exactly this will be used?
Certainly, I believe there is a huge opportunity in India, both on the digital side, linear side, as well as the sports business that we talked about. So there is an opportunity here to really encash on, and certainly, given that the prudence of Zee will remain our DNA going forward as well. So we will, maintain our ROCs, etc., that we need to deliver to the shareholders. We would not just keep cash for the sake of keeping cash. We will really make it work and earn the returns for the shareholders. Unfortunately, I can't elaborate more on this call today with you, but as time will pass, we will keep sharing our plans with you, just as we have done in the past.
Right. And a lot of markets are overlapping. Is there any plans to shut down some operation line of any of the entities so that the synergies can be better utilized, can be derived?
I think the overlaps are largely in the Hindi speaking markets of GEC and movies. And I was just, as I was explaining earlier, that the overlap is there, yes, but also the distinct content that exists on the two platforms is very different and exclusive. And therefore, our objective will be to maximize viewership so that we can garner revenue synergies rather than just taking calls of shutting channels or shutting down businesses. So it's going to be a very detailed analysis and a decision that the MergeCo board will make once these two entities come together.
Just one last question, if I can squeeze in. Do you think or expect the open offer needs to be given to the minority shareholders, or how do you expect the things to proceed?
We are talking about a merger scheme out here, so no open offer is applicable or required in a merger scheme.
Oh, sorry, can you repeat? I couldn't hear.
It's a merger scheme which we are talking out here, and no open offer is required in a merger scheme.
Okay, so no minority shareholder needs to give any kind of go ahead.
Yeah, there is no requirement.
From that point. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sachin Salgaonkar from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. I have a couple of questions. Number one question, Punit, your family's shareholding is getting diluted in this transaction from roughly 4% to 2%. Any thoughts of increasing that further immediately after the merger?
Vikas?
Yeah, so if as a part of the deal, there is a transfer of certain stake which would happen from Sony to the promoters, and that will go so that the promoters don't enter into a conflicting business. So the resulting shareholding post this transaction for the existing promoters is going to be 4%. But just to make it clear, company is not going to pay to the promoters anything. This is a transfer from Sony to the promoters.
At what price?
No, this is not a price. This is a transfer in lieu of the family not entering into a conflicting business.
Okay, so the family's shareholding will be 4% immediately after the merger.
That's right.
Okay. It is subject to shareholder approval.
Of course, yeah. Everything is subject to the required approvals.
Okay. Thank you. Second question is, has the EGM been called off, or you guys are looking to schedule an EGM in coming days?
No, so this call we have kept for this discussion, and we have made the requisite disclosures on the notice for the EGM received from the minority shareholder. And as and when required, we will be making requisite further disclosures for the same on that matter.
Okay. And Punit, your sense as we stand now, I mean, do we need that EGM or, that might be completely called off?
I can't comment on that, sir.
Got it. All right. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Naval from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. A couple of questions, Puneet. First, in terms of two brands now, is there any specific timeline till when it will be operated as a separate identities or kind of companies, and eventually it will get merged that way? Second, as you are saying that focus is on maintaining or increasing reach and not on channel rationalization, but there would be some obvious channels which will get kind of rationalized automatically, and it would also imply cost benefits also. Like and TV was more of a comedy point of view, but they have Sub, which is a strong channel. So and so forth. There would be a lot of channels that way, or tail channels, which doesn't give you much of revenues, but somewhat strength to the bouquet. But now in merged entity, how you view that?
So as I said earlier, Naval, I'm again repeating that those calls will be made by the merged co board when that merger happens. Until then, status quo remains. Any merger, because this is a court-driven NCLT process merger, it does take its due course of time. And until then, status quo will be maintained. Post-merger, we will take those decisions as to what is the optimized way of running the merged company.
Okay. And second, are there any agreements, or will there be any agreements in terms of CFO coming from appointed by Sony or head HR appointed by Z or something of that sort? Will it be mixed match of that thing, or that is also still not on cards or not yet decided?
No, those are all parts of the definitive agreement negotiations.
Okay. And thirdly, with this, do you see some competitive intensity getting rationalized on both OTT and underlying broadcasting business, and somewhat benefiting industry on cost aspect?
I would certainly believe that this would benefit the industry overall, because consolidation always helps the industry, all aspects of it. So therefore, it will certainly have an impact there. But competition has been intense in this country for the last 30 years since we have started operating. I don't see that going away for the next 30 years at least.
Understood.
But we have survived for 30, we will survive for the next 30 also.
Great. Best wishes. Thank you, Puneet.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankur Periwal from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Puneet. Thanks for the opportunity. So, sorry to harp on the same point again, but the incremental, $1.5 billion coming from Sony, plus our internal accruals, which will accrue over the, next couple of years. From a capital allocation perspective, you had earlier mentioned of, aggressive content investments across TV, digital, as well as, on the movies front. Will there be a rejig in the thought, and probably the new board, which will come along with Sony's representation, will have a fresh call on it, or the earlier strategy continues and, things will be incremental thereafter?
So I think my belief in my earlier strategy has not wavered. I will, of course, be putting that to the new board of the merged co. And now this merger also brings in the opportunity of the kids bouquet as well as sports bouquet, which we did not have earlier. So I'm sure the board will have to take a call on what the capital allocation is going to be going forward.
Sure. And from a management role perspective, now while you will be leading the team there, but there will be probably some overlaps, between the two assets, since they were running as independent operations earlier. Any thoughts there on how the rejig is going to happen, or probably it's still sort of slightly it will take some time for those things to be rectified?
Ankur, it's not even been 24 hours. Come on, give us some time before we can start answering these kind of questions.
Sure. No, where I was coming from was, as we were earlier discussing from a cost synergies, revenue synergies perspective, and as you rightly highlighted, from a consolidation perspective, there could be an improvement not only in the revenue line, but probably significant improvement in the cost side as well. So which is where I was alluding to.
No, I completely agree with you. And certainly, as I have maintained, that I will first attack the revenue synergies before attacking the cost synergies. Our first objective will be to increase and optimize revenue for the combined entity, and then look at the cost line.
Sure. And lastly, if I got it right, on your, the promoter family stake increasing from 4 to 20%, there is no structured, proposition right now. It's more a work in progress, and probably we'll get more clarity later on. But the intent is clearly there.
That's right. That's right.
Fair enough. That's helpful. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yogesh Kirve from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. So, sir, can you tell us about the broad considerations that went into deciding the merger ratio? So, one aspect is clearly the cash infusion from Sony. But apart from that, can you just talk about how each company was valued, at least on relative terms?
Yeah. So, we have determined the relative valuation basis of framework, in which what we have factored is a fair assessment of each other's business. Number one. Number two, whatever is there in the public domain of each other's, ours is a lot more there. And third, the assessment of the advisors to both the companies. So we have factored all these three into, and then came up with this merge ratio.
Just to simplify, I mean, so if you look at in terms of any valuation multiple, so can you give us comfort that the valuations of GE were at least at par with Sony, or how is it?
So as I said again, we have looked at the relative valuations, and we have come up with this number. Whatever ratios we have given, there is a cash figure. There is information enough for you to make your own assessment. But right now, this is what we have disclosed, and now we are entering into a due diligence period. Post due diligence, we'll come up with more information for you.
Okay. So this proposal will go for a shareholder approval at some stage. So could you just inform this would require any ordinary resolution or a special resolution?
So three-fourth majority is required to pass through.
Okay. And finally, so what is your estimate regarding the timeline in which this transaction could be concluded in a best case scenario?
Yeah, I mean, going by but typically any merger scheme takes 7 to 8 months or 6 to 8 months, and that's our estimate also for this.
Okay. Thanks a lot for the responses, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pratik Rangnekar from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Just had a clarification on the non-compete part. So, the 2% that the promoters will get is from the 52-53% stake that Sony has. So their stake will go down by that much. Is that understanding correct?
That is correct.
Okay, right. And just one more on the synergies bit. So you mentioned 6 to 10% of synergies on the revenue side. If you could just provide some initial thoughts on why that would be there, maybe just from my understanding, in terms of is that that the combined reach of the entity will be higher and hence it is more valuable for advertisers or something of that sort, or is there more to that?
No, that's absolutely correct. It will be the scale that will get us that much growth.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nilang Mehta from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. So just on non-compete, do we need any special approval for that? Because I recollect historically there have been precedents where non-compete has not been allowed. So in our case, especially when promoter shareholding was already down to 4%, whether non-compete is justifiable. So is there an approval process around that? Is my first question.
Yeah, an approval is required for that, and that's majority of the public shareholders.
That's majority of it. Okay, thanks for that. And the second question is, going forward, if there is a counter bid from other parties, how will that be presented to shareholders?
So we will assess as and when those offers are made to us. But you should keep in mind that we have signed a 90-day exclusivity. So anything can only happen outside of those 90 days.
But so before this, there were no other proposals which were considered by the board. This was the first proposal which was considered, and Sony approached us.
So we keep getting approached with proposals from time to time, both financial and otherwise. We have chosen the best offer that was made to us and proposed to the board for an in-principle approval.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Satish Shada from Tusk Investment. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for taking my question. I wanted to know more on the digital side. Sony Live has its own app, and so does ZEE5, right? And we have newer elements such as gaming coming into these package too. So just wondering how the plan would move forward, whether these two apps would be separate, or is there desire to combine them into one app and add additional features to it?
Satish, as I said, all these decisions will be taken by the MergeCo board once the companies successfully merge. And, that will be a call of the board once the merger has taken place. Today, we are not in a position to give you any color on how we're moving forward post-merger it will happen.
All right, got it. And if directionally you could just help us with what the shareholding pattern for the entity would be like. So right now we have 4% of promoter holding and 96% free float. So post the transaction, what percentage of the total company would be the free float? Is there an indication that you have right now?
Yeah, so we have given you the merger ratios, and I think you can calculate the dilution of all the shareholders out here, and that will give you the free float estimate also.
Okay, fine. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vaibhav Goyal from SBI Life. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir. So wanted to understand two things. Primarily, because you said that a lot of things have been taken into consideration. But the point is, approximately Sony size is, in terms of EBITDA, is like 60% of Z. And he is bringing in around $1.57 billion for getting that 52% kind of a shareholding. So, and that 52% in turn is coming down to 34% because 18% would be given by Sony from his shareholding. So in short, what he is getting, or he is looking at the valuation of around much higher than probably what presently we are looking into. So what is the kind of probably the successful merger is one criteria, but what are the other parameters or the hurdles which we have fixed for that 18% kind of a stake transfer?
Well, I think you've misunderstood. There is no 18% stake transfer. The stake transfer is roughly about 2% only, as envisaged in the transaction. Sony will remain majority shareholder of this company with more than 50% stake.
So Sony is acquired. Yeah, just complete the sentence. Sony is acquiring the majority stake through primary infusion of that cash, plus of course the relative value of two businesses.
Got your point. But when we say that due to non-compete and promoters' intention to increase that, so whether they would be infusion or purchase of stake from Sony by Z, or there would be a transfer based on certain performance parameters which takes in what would be that the process from that 2% or 2.5% would move to 20% for promoters?
Yeah, so we are talking about two different things out here. The first one is the transfer of 2% from Sony to the promoters, and that is in lieu of promoters or family not entering into a conflicting business. So that transfer is happening from Sony to family, I repeat. The second part which you are talking about is the increase from 4% to 20%. That is an in-principle agreement between Sony and the promoters, that the promoters can in principle increase their stakeholding through applicable whatever applicable methods or ways are there, and they can go up to 20%.
Again, subject to all regulatory approvals. And of course, you have to pay for it.
Now that, yeah, and that can include anything, whether it be a secondary or whether it be a primary infusion by the promoters in the company, whatever we will see when in, at the point of time.
Okay, sure. Sure, sir. One thing probably which I should have asked at this stage, but the point is Z is getting merged with Sony. So would there be any kind of period when there would be a bigger period where they would be unlisted for this entity? How does that thing work? Because it's not the reverse merger which is happening to the listed entity.
So currently, it's just we haven't really decided because we need to evaluate a lot many things before we take the final decision of who is merging into what. What we have put out right here is an indication or an intent right now, but that intent is under evaluation.
Sure, sir. Okay.
There would not be any period when there is no listing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Jain from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity again. Just wanted to understand the digital piece of the business within the Sony. Do they have any other digital property apart from the entertainment OTT property, which is coming as a part of deal from the Sony side in the merged entity?
As far as we understand, they only have another OTT platform in the international market called Crunchyroll, which is not part of this transaction.
Okay. So we will be having a. And then what is the thought process on the OTT side? Will the merged entity? I know it's earlier, but just trying to understand the thought process here. So we will run the two different OTT app, or it's better to have a single OTT app. And from the Z perspective, we have been talking about investing in the technology. Will Sony come with that improved technology we were aiming at, and that platform is good enough for us to scale for the next level? Is there any thought on that side of the business?
We have discussed several options with them on the tech side, especially when it comes to the gaming business and the gaming related to OTT, etc. But no decision has been arrived at currently. These are all matters which will be decided post the merger.
But this gaming and all will be part of the merged entity, and these IPs will sit within the merged entities. Is that the right understanding, or we will be talking about licensing it from the Sony parent?
No, it's still too early to say what it is going to be. These are all discussions to be had in the coming future.
But fair enough. But we can expect more digital apart from just an OTT app from the merged entity. Will that be assumption a fair one?
Absolutely correct. Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Some bit on the sports side, if you can give your initial thought process on that, because we have been all along maintained that Z on its own did not wanted to re-enter the sports business. Now with Sony coming up with a very large bouquet of the sports, and you rightfully said that sports has a important role in the OTT platform. We will go aggressively in investing in the sports from these levels, and will we be bidding for more sports property from here on within the India? What's thoughts on that?
Well, certainly sports will become an area of focus for the merged company. But the decision for aggressively bidding or not bidding will be taken by the board of the merged company as and when the merger completes. Today, there is no specific view as to how we want to address that going forward.
But that will remain one of our core portfolio and the investment thought process, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, fair enough, sir. Thank you and best of luck for merger and future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhay from Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Just one, firstly, one clarification. Almost 2% stake transfer from Sony to Z. So the stake 53-47, that is after the transfer of 2% stake or before that?
This 40% stake is before 47% shareholding is before the stake transfer, but the stake transfer is happening to the promoters.
Yeah. So effectively, current Z shareholders, including promoters, will have 49% stake in the eventually.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Okay. And secondly, if you can, I know you would be knowing Sony about the company, the content, and I think I'm not sure what in the negotiation or due diligence process can lead to a fallout of the deal. If, like, should shareholders be concerned on that part, that some big negotiations still remaining, or you like what will happen in due diligence that one should be cautious or concerned about? If you want to highlight anything.
No, I don't foresee anything of that sort happening in the due diligence. It's we already understand each other's business, because we operate in the same sector. They understand our business, we understand their business. The financial and legal due diligence is only to validate what we already know. So we are not really concerned on that aspect.
Okay, great. And lastly, can you add some color around the culture of the two organizations? How different they are or how similar they are? Like the way of working people or the objectives or the aggression or the content side, like how different these Z and Sony two organizations are?
Every organization has their own culture, but as I say, change is inevitable. So we too shall change to find a new culture of a combined entity.
Okay, great. That's it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dinesh Joshi from Prabhudas Lilladher. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, just one question from my side. In the press release, we have stated that majority of the board of directors of the merged entity will be nominated by the Sony Group. But how many do we expect from Z side to be on the board of the merged entity? Any color you can give on that?
There will be only one person from the current promoter family on the board of the merged group, which will be myself.
Okay. Sure. And I have one question. I don't know, it might sound a bit repetitive, but obviously there are two brands which are pretty much well known, Sony and Z. So post this merger, I mean, will they operate independently, or you believe that a new brand might come up and that is how the merged entity will operate in the future?
Both brands have their core strengths, right, and loyalty, followership of viewers. So why would we want to risk that by going and undoing something that we've already succeeded at? But does that mean that we will not create a third brand? Sure, we can create a third brand also. But I certainly believe that my view would be to retain both the brands and continue to function the way we are functioning. Only the organizations will come together and work as one.
Okay, sir. Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Saket Lohia from GrowthX Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the opportunity. My first question was on the structure part. I think that is pretty clear. That made pretty clear. Secondly, I had a question on the OTT platform. So I think that is also made clear. Last question was on the music area. Do you think that you would be investing more, like a bunch of cash into the music business because your competitors, they seem to be doing quite well into the music business?
Well, I think we are also doing quite well in our music business. But certainly the growth capital is for the overall company. And if we find opportunities in the music business for us to invest behind, which do deliver the return on capital that the company works with, certainly we will consider those. But overall, it's for the entire company to see, and how the capital allocation will be done, again, will be decided by the new board of the merged group.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vipul Shah from Sumangal Investment. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. This may sound repetitive, but I just want to get it clear. This $1.575 billion of investment will be primary issuance in the form of preferential allotment. Is that understanding correct, sir?
So it's not preferential allotment. Again, as a part of a composite merger scheme, this cash will be infused into the company, into the private company of Sony, which will get merged with Zee, and thereby the resultant shareholding for Sony is going to be 52.93.
And the cash will be available in the merged entity.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Adukia from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much for taking my questions. I have two quick questions, both follow-ups on the previous questions. So in the hypothetical scenario that the promoter shareholding goes from 4% to 20% over time, Sony will still continue to hold more than 50% of the merged entity. Is that understanding correct?
Well, that's up to Sony, what they decide to do or not. But we have the option certainly to increase our stake to 20%.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And the second question, in terms of just the $1.8 odd billion of cash that the combined entity would have, do you have, let's say, a pecking order in terms of, let's say, the three key buckets, OTT, sports, and your, core linear television? Which are the areas which would see the most amount of investment? And a related question, if you can just talk about the last 6 to 12 months, what has really transpired in terms of just the company or the industry to have, aggressively, pursuing this merger on both your and Sony's part?
Yeah, so first and foremost on the capital allocation, again, I'll repeat, it's for the MergeCo board to decide how to allocate the capital, what growth areas. Of course, I will make my own recommendations to the board on the basis of which the decision will be made. Secondly, what has transpired in the last 6 to 12 months is the entire advent of the digital media that has been seen on the back of the COVID pandemic that we have witnessed. And therefore, the need for us to really invest more aggressively behind the digital platforms to capture viewership going forward. This is what has made us change our thought process and go out and look at these opportunities.
Right. Thank you, Puneet. So just based on your answer, I mean, would that then be safe to say that the focus of the cash that you have on the books, at least a large part of it, would be to grow that digital presence for the merged entity?
Well, it will certainly be one of the key focus areas for us.
Sure. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vishal Makwan from Sunrise Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Vishal. We cannot hear you clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, this is better. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. My question to Mr. Goenka is one thing about the deal. Of course, the deal says that Mr. Goenka will be the MD and CEO of the merged entity. But what I want to understand is that in case if there's a decision taken against him at the EGM, would the deal still stand, or is it very much dependent on him being the MD CEO at the merged entity? Can you throw some light on that? And the second question is, have you reached out to the shareholders, including Invesco, in terms of understanding what they think about this particular transaction? Are they on board or not? And similar shareholders like LIC including, have you sort of made an attempt to reach out to those larger shareholders in the company? And third thing is that there's a non-compete clause, as you mentioned, as part of the non-binding agreement. Mr. Subhash Chandra had recently mentioned that he would be looking out for opportunities in the digital content space. Then in that case, wouldn't that really have an interference with the non-compete clause of the deal?
So let me take the first one. Sony has made it clear that the appointment of Mr. Goenka as MD and CEO is an integral part of the deal, and we will be taking this as a composite scheme. So yeah, this is an integral part of the deal to answer that. And I'll take the third part of your question before the second one. On the non-compete, we will be coming out with the exact wordings of what non-compete would entail in the definitives. But yeah, whatever current businesses are there, in such non-compete arrangements, they always continue. It's more to do with any future businesses which are not in operation or has not been envisaged. And yeah, and just to make it clear, even Dr. Subhash Chandra's statement said that they will, the digital properties will not compete with these digital properties.
Just as a follow-up, if they are in the same market, sir, I mean, how would you be able to say that they don't compete with Zee? I mean, what will be the differentiator in that sense?
So let me attempt that with you, sir. Zee is in the business of entertainment media, right? And digital as a world is far greater than just entertainment. And what Dr. Chandra's statement suggested was he's going to look at digital properties going forward to be built, not competing with Zee Entertainment. That was very, very clear in his statement. So I think his intent has been made clear from that day itself. But the digital world is a very large world, and to say that we will restrict ourselves from that entire digital world will be unfair on any promoter in today's world and time. I'm sure you will agree with that.
Correct. One clarification on the answer that you gave to the first question as well. So in a potential situation where shareholders vote against Mr. Goenka on becoming the MD or staying the MD and CEO of Zee Entertainment, in that case, how does this particular transaction shape up? Would you have to go back and again have conversations with Sony? Then does it put it on a shaky sort of ground as far as the transaction is concerned?
So that's absolutely a separate matter, and nothing to do with this deal. This deal will carry on or will take its own course in the framework of the relevant regulatory requirements or the approvals required, and we'll follow that process.
No, I'm asking simply because it's been made a part of the non-binding agreement that Mr. Goenka will be the MD CEO of the merged entity, and hence.
So we are as I have said, and I am again repeating it, we are taking this as a composite scheme, and Mr. Goenka's appointment is an integral part of this transaction.
Okay. The last question that I asked, have you reached out to larger shareholders like Invesco, LIC as far as this transaction is concerned? Are they on board? Are they not on board? What is the situation?
We haven't reached out to any shareholders.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Vishal?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Due to time constraints, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Anshul Jain for closing comments.
Thank you everyone for your interest in the company. Should you have any further queries, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you again, and please do take good care of yourself.
Thank you. On behalf of Zee Entertainment Enterprises Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.